If you want a really good compact wireless mouse for your laptop, chances are you might be looking at the Logitech MX Anywhere 3. And that is a really expensive mouse by all means, and unless you take full advantage of all the features that it offers, it is pretty much just a standard mouse. But there is a really good alternative out there, and which is this one. This is the Razer Orochi V2. As you can see, it doesn't look flashy at all, it doesn't have any RGB lighting at all. That makes it look really good on a workspace. Best of all, it features 2 wireless modes, which means you can connect to your computer either using its 2.4 GHz hyperspeed dongle or Bluetooth low energy, which is actually pretty versatile if you have multiple devices going on, which is why I'm going to talk about this mouse today after using it for about 2 weeks. One of the things that I really love about the Razer Orochi V2 is its lightweight design. So according to the box, it weighs less than 60 grams, which is actually very perceivable. It is very compact, very lightweight, and it's very easy to move around the surface, as you can see. Now to set it all up, it is actually pretty easy. All you need to do is to remove the casing on top just like this, and you insert either a single AA or AAA battery. Now this is a really great feature for those who wants to go wireless and don't want to bother about charging using a USB cable, because charging over USB can be pretty slow, and all you need to do is to just pop in a battery and you're done. And this supports a AAA battery if you have that as well. So Razer rates the battery life up to 950 hours when you're on Bluetooth low energy, and if you switch to the hyperspeed 2.4 GHz wireless mode, it will halve the battery life to 425 hours, which is still pretty long by all means, and that is a good thing when it doesn't have any RGB lightings all around, because that is one way that they could actually save the battery. Now this is where you store the 2.4 GHz hyperspeed dongle, and I think it's pretty convenient here. And last but not least, let's take a look at the bottom here. Now as you can see right here, it comes with this white color padding, which is definitely not my favorite, because over time as you use it on the surface, this part gets really dirty after a while and it might actually wear off, which will actually cause the mouse to be a little unstable as you track across the surface. And here's the switch of the mouse, where you get to turn on to either Bluetooth, low energy, or 2.4 GHz wireless mode. This is an 18K DPI optical sensor from Razer. They say it is their next generation 5G optical sensor, whatever that means. But in my opinion, and according to my test, I think this is a really great sensor, although it doesn't track on glossy surfaces like this really well, which you shouldn't be doing that, because when you game, you always put it on a proper gaming mouse pad like this. It tracks pretty well, it's pretty accurate. And now let me show you some of the features of the Razer Orochi V2 on the Razer Synapse software. Alright, so for those of you who are familiar with Razer products, you will usually use the Razer Synapse software to configure everything about your peripherals. So the Orochi V2 supports the latest Synapse, and as you go in here, you can see a pretty standard set of customizations with your buttons here. So if you click on Hypershift, Hypershift is actually a secondary mode where you can configure different keys to your buttons here. So the Orochi V2 doesn't have too much buttons to configure, by the way. So the only thing that you can pretty much configure is the mouse 4 and mouse 5 buttons, which is the side buttons for navigating previous and forward on your web browser, or the middle button right over here. So in terms of configuration, I have to say that it's actually pretty cool. So first of all, you can set 5 stages of performance of tracking. So this is the default one. So the stage 1 is 400 DPI, and the highest that I've configured is up to 6400 DPI, which I think is pretty fast already, but you can definitely increase it up to 18,000 DPI if you actually want to. And another thing that I really like about this, as opposed to any productivity mouse out there, because this is a gaming mouse, so it needs to have really precise tracking, so it has this calibration feature. So depending on whether you are a hardcore gamer or not, I believe you will definitely notice the tracking difference here. So there is even a preset calibration where you can actually configure the tracking according to a surface that you purchase from Razer, which is actually pretty cool. And last but not least, you have the option to configure wireless power saving mode on this mouse. And I really like the power saving mode on this thing because unlike some of the wireless gaming mouse I've tested out there, they take a while to wake up and connect back to your system if it is on Bluetooth. But the Razer Orochi V2 connects back to my system almost immediately once I click on a button. So having daily drive the Orochi V2 for about 2 weeks already, I really love this small and lightweight mouse. Now first of all, this mouse is definitely suited for right-handers, so if you're a left-handed user, so too bad, it probably doesn't fit you so well in terms of the ergonomics. Now the buttons, I find it to be really clicky and I really like the response when I click on something. It feels really satisfying to do that. But there's just one complaint about the Orochi V2, which is the surface here. Now this is a rough surface, and as you can see that it already has some scratches over here because it didn't come with a case, of course, which you shouldn't expect it to. So I literally just threw it back into my bag, and it already has got some obvious scratches on the surface already, which makes it not look nice. But thankfully, this is not a glossy or matte surface, otherwise it would look even more ugly. So, in terms of value, the Razer Orochi V2 is priced at 289 ringgit, which is pretty affordable if you ask me, considering that this is a gaming mouse and it tracks way better than any other wireless mouse out there. So, if you have that kind of budget to spend on a good wireless mouse, the Orochi V2 is definitely a great consideration. But best of all, our e-store is selling this. So, we are giving KLGG fans a 15 ringgit off this mouse. So just enter the code Orochi at the checkout page on Good Deals by KLGG and you will enjoy that discount. So that's pretty much about my quick review of the Razer Orochi V2. This is a really great gaming mouse that I really urge that you go check it out in stores or just buy it directly on our e-store. That's pretty much for today's video, and stay tuned for more videos coming right up on KLGadgetTV. Stay subscribed to us and follow us on social media. I'll see you in our next video.